been so up and down this year. That's surprising considering the talent you have overall, not just talking overall.
What are we, 6 games? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6 games in. Part of it, I think, in the NFL in a sense, right? Talking about, I know I've mentioned the identity before and finding out who we were. And when you're up and down, I don't know if you have that answer quite yet or as quick as you'd want to. But we know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, we know where we've got to grow. A lot of room to grow, and I know we've got the right people and the competitors for the most part in this locker room that are going to do what's necessary to make some gains.
What gives you confidence? What gives you confidence the defense can turn it around?
I practice against them. They're an NFL group. Practice against them all off season. I know the guys as people, not just players, and how they're made up. I know they're as pissed as anybody is. I know their standard, and as a teammate, I got a lot of confidence, and they'll get it going.
So from seeing them every day in practice, though, why are they falling short in games?
Yeah, but I'd also have to go back and look at the X's and O's of the other offense, what they're giving them, how they're attacking that. In that standpoint, I've got a lot on my hands to worry about the offense, and so I'm going to just keep focusing on that, making sure that we don't have a lull and we continue to get better, hold ourselves to our standard, and I know the defense is only going to improve.
I know.
What can you do, if anything, to help the defense?
I'm on offense, brother. I mean, it ain't much. See, you trying to get me to say something that I play offense.
Could you play defensive back?
I play offense.
Is on the way for the Cowboys this Sunday as CeeDee Lamb is set to return against the Commanders. The Pro Bowl wide receiver has missed the last 3 games with a high left ankle sprain. How dangerous does Lamb's return make the Cowboys, Cam? And what advice do you have for Dak Prescott in the group?
Man, it's simple. Do not allow talent to dictate where the football goes. I will say it again. Do not allow talent to dictate where the football goes. Allow the defense to dictate where the football goes. When you allow talent to dictate where the football goes, now it leads to you forcing the football. The thing that has been marvelous to see from Dak Prescott in these last couple of weeks is how will he be able to manage and distribute the football? And he's been doing it off of the premise of the defense is in cover 2, I have to get to my check down if we got a shot call. Hey, the defense is in cover 3, let me give my guys an opportunity. Or they're in man-to-man, let me give my guys an opportunity. Hey, I'm hot, let me get to my check down. Those type of things, when you insert a CeeDee Lamb, his presence, his aura, his whole demeanor presents opposing threat, not just to defenders who's guarding him, but to the sideline when you look up and you say to yourself, man, it's been 3rd quarter and he only got 1 reception or 2 receptions. Those type of issues go through your mind as a quarterback, and I just would tell Dak to say, hey, lock in, bro. Keep doing what you've been doing. You got another Maserati inserted into your garage, but you've been doing a hell of a job with that one Rolls Royce and those doggone Priuses and doggone excursions and Escalades. That's cool. They quality, and they've been giving you a lot, and that's what you would expect.
I think you have to allow both the defense and talent to dictate where the ball goes. And when Cam says the defense, he's saying you throw the football to where the defense's weaknesses are. But sometimes there are one-on-ones with George Pickens that are your matchup. That talent dictates that. There are going to be one-on-ones with CeeDee Lamb where talent dictates that. I said coming into the season that this was the 2nd best wide receiver quarterback trio in all of football. And without Joe Flacco, with Joe Flacco replacing Joe Burrow, maybe number 1. CeeDee Lamb has to become a huge part of this offense immediately. George Pickens has already become a huge part of this offense in CeeDee Lamb's absence, but so has Fournette, so has Ferguson, so has Tolbert. This can be the most explosive passing game in all of football, and that's how they should approach this game. Last week, we watched the Carolina Panthers slow down Javonte Williams. That should not happen going forward because you're going to have to pay attention to the skilled players on the outside. Dak Prescott playing at an MVP level. And you know, Stephen A., you said it. This team has to score 30-plus points to win, and that's how they should attack.
Let me tell you what I'm surprised neither one of y'all brought up. The fact that George Pickens has been rolling so well. that CeeDee Lamb coming back, potentially taking opportunities away from him, targets away from him. Of course, that's a natural thing because CeeDee Lamb is your wide receiver number one. But the point is, who's to say that's not going to have an effect? I'm not casting aspersions on him. We all know the temperamental issues he was known to have in Pittsburgh for whatever reason. In my estimation, probably because he didn't have a quarterback like Dak Prescott throwing him the damn football. Okay, we get that part. The flip side to it is, nevertheless, approaching a contract year, balling out the way that he has, looking for his paper, like Cam pointed out, as individuals, looking for your paper. Why haven't we broached the possibility that CeeDee Lamb could have a potentially negative impact because it requires them to share, and how receptive is George Lynch going to be to, George Pickens going to be to that?
I just feel like only negative that can come from going or the addition to CeeDee Lamb is all ego.
I agree.
That's
what I'm talking about, ego.
I'm CeeDee and I'm seeing what George Pickens does and has been doing, knowing what I know about CeeDee,
He's a good brother.
He's excited because now who you gonna double? Who you gonna focus on? Last night's game, perfect example. When Joe Flacco threw it to the middle of the field, I forget the receiver's name.
Yoshi Vash.
Yoshi. When both of the safeties bracketed T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, hello, what do you do? He went to where the defense told him to go, right? When you have George Pickens on one side, then you have CeeDee Lamb on another side, what do you run?
Well, I will say this, if I'm going to go back. I'll give you the last word, RC, but I'll go to this. It helps that CeeDee Lamb got his money. If both of them were looking for their money, we'd have a problem.
Trouble.
But the fact that CeeDee Lamb got his money, he can have that attitude because he can afford to, because he's getting his bag. Now you want your dude to get his bag.
Well, I think the big thing is, I love that Cam brought up T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase not only work well together, they got the same agent. Right? So you had the same person asking a team for multiple millions of dollars, and they got it done because T. Higgins wanted to stay there. Because he understands that there's going to be some fruit that falls from this tree or some shade that falls from this tree that eventually allows me to get in the sunshine. That's the same thing that can happen with CeeDee Lamb and also George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb needs to take targets away from Fournette and Tolbert and Ferguson, not necessarily George Pickens when the matchup is his.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Last word?
No, but yeah, I'll say that. Then when you see an athlete fighting for his contract or fighting for his career on his contract year, it's a different type of stress and opportunity. But George Pickens has been delightful to watch. As a fan and knowing him personally, it's been amazing to see his growth.
Brother can play.
No, for sure.
He's always been this talented, and if you ask anybody in Dallas, because I've asked the question, he's been a model citizen since arriving there.
Yeah, that's what happens when you got somebody to throw you the ball. This is simple. It's not